Wisconsin recall elections coming up on Tuesday. These are absolutely critical. Now remember, 6 Republicans got recalled, 3 Democrats. 1 Democrat has already had that recall election and won it easily. That was Democratic Senator David Hansen. He has passed. 2 more Democrats are up for recall elections on August 16th, but on August 9th, on Tuesday, all 6 Republicans are up for recalls, and a lot of them are in trouble. And this could swing the state Senate in Wisconsin, and it could make it much harder for Republicans to push their anti-union, anti-worker agenda in that state. So let's look at the list. We've got Republican incumbent Luther Olson up for re-election, basically through the recall. Sheila Harsford of River Falls, Albert Darling of River Hills, Robert Cowles, Randy Hopper, and Dan Kapanke. First of all, Randy Hopper and Dan Kapanke are both in big trouble. Kapanke is the one that said, hey, if the people who work for the government actually show up for the election, basically my goose is cooked, right? And so let's try to figure out a way to make sure that they're asleep and that the workers don't show up on this election day. So obviously Kapanke thinks he's in a world of trouble. Hopper is the guy who had his wife sign his recall petition because apparently he cheated on her. They both have the nickname Hanky Panky Hopper. That was given to him. And then Kapanke, since it rhymes anyway, I gave him the nickname of Hanky Panky Kapanke. So the 2 Hanky Panky guys are in big trouble tomorrow, but you got to show up and vote to make sure they get kicked out. But that alone won't do it. You need to swing more elections so that the 1914 balance that is now in favor of the Republicans switches over to the Democrats. So you need 2 more. Certainly Luther Olson is a guy who's in trouble in rural areas of Wisconsin. And you know what's happening because of that? Well, some conservative groups, including the Club for Growth and Wisconsin Family Action, have poured in $415,000 into that tiny little election in Olson's district. Now, the opposite side has also poured in money. Money's coming in from all directions into Wisconsin at what used to be these sleepy state senator elections. Now, obviously, they have huge ramifications because are we going to hit the middle class? Is all the paying going to go to the workers? Or are the rich going to chip in at all? These are the things that are on the line here, right? Now, what's funny is, and by the way, just in case you were interested in that Olson race, the Club for Growth, et cetera, have outspent the other side 2-1, which is usually what happens, of course, right? So, by the way, I love the Club for Growth and the other conservatives saying in those elections, one of their big messaging that they are getting, that they're putting out there with all those ads that they're buying with all that money is, this is disenfranchising the voters. We already had an election in November. Those voters would be disenfranchised if we had another election. Well, under that logic, shouldn't we stop all elections, period? Right? Because, well, that would disenfranchise the earlier voters in the earlier election. And here comes the extra irony. We did a little extra research into this and found out that the Club for Growth actually has a little bit of history about recalls. Sean Steele was the Republican National Committeeman in California when they were doing the recall election of Gray Davis. At that point, of course, he's massively in favor of recalls. Recalls are awesome, right? Of course, when it's a Democrat being recalled. But then he went on, and by the way, he co-founded the successful campaign to recall Gray Davis. In 2004, he co-founded the California Club for Growth, which now thinks, as the Club for Growth overall now thinks that recall elections are terrible when you're recalling Republicans. They're disenfranchising voters. Funny how that works, isn't it? Now look, that's just one guy, but overall, all the conservative groups were in favor of the recall in California. They're all against it in Wisconsin, and they comically put up the Democrats as part of these recalls, even though the Democrats, did, of course, in my estimation, nothing wrong. They claim how dare they have left the state. Obviously, the voters spoke in the first election and overwhelmingly re-elected the Democrat who was facing the first recall. We'll see what happens on August 16th as well. But Tuesday is the big day because this is what they're spending all the money on to make sure that the people that are in the middle class in Wisconsin are not represented. Republicans win these seats, and they continue to crush the middle class. If you're in Wisconsin, don't you stand for it, man. And let me say one last thing about this, because we've all been looking to Wisconsin. Now for over 6 months, I've been saying, hey, you know what? Don't look to Washington. There's nobody there to help you. Look on a state-by-state basis. And the uprising that happened, the peaceful protests that happened in Wisconsin were fantastic. But now you got to finish it. If you finish it and you take these bums out of office and you stop the momentum of the Koch brothers financed, Club for Growth financed Republicans that want to transfer wealth from the middle class to the rich, if you stop them in their tracks, it sends a message to the whole country. That's why these elections are so important.
We are wearing awesome t-shirts today. It's not as obvious as it should be.
Yeah, this is,
It's a Matador, Matador. I wanted a shirt that looked cute and was comfortable, and this was it. But unfortunately, the logo isn't large enough. It's very silky and soft. Do you feel the softness?